Joining us for this midday news are Michael Tamtipais. Tambul in Western Islands province woke this morning to devastating scenes as frost covered their food gardens. With the country now experiencing an El Nino period and scientists warning of a super one, the first impacts were evident today. Lem Moses Pamenda, a teacher at Kiripia Secondary School, shared photos on Facebook showing gardens covered what looked like snow. He said as the sun rose, the frost began to melt, but the damage had already been done. Crops exposed to frost are expected to wither and die in the coming days. And they are expecting more frost fall in the days ahead. Children in Papua New Guinea face high risk from climate change, with around 1.5 million children, or 1 in 3 children, exposed to at least 2 overlapping climate hazards, according to UNICEF's new Children's Climate Risk Report 2026 released yesterday. More than 305,000 children are exposed to 3 overlapping hazards. This compounding risk increases the likelihood of illness, food insecurity, displacement, interrupted learning, and disruption to essential services.
UNICEF's Children's Climate Risk Report 2026, more than 2.6 million children in Papua New Guinea are exposed to drought, over 1.8 million to frequent, longer and severe heat waves, more than 600,000 to tropical storms, nearly 200,000 to riverine flooding, and close to 150,000 to frequent fires. Almost 4 million children, or nearly every child in Papua New Guinea, are exposed to malaria, a climate-sensitive hazard that is one of the country's most significant health risks and places Papua New Guinea among those with the highest levels of child exposure globally. As a small island developing state in a fragile context, Papua New Guinea faces a unique combination of climate and development challenges. Climate-related shocks can affect children's health, disrupt learning, threaten food security, and reduce access to the services they need to survive and thrive. The findings underscore the scale of climate risk facing children and place them among the most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. The findings also highlight how climate change is compounding existing challenges in accessing health, nutrition, education, and protection services in Papua New Guinea. Less than half of children in the country receive routine immunization. 1 in 4 children experiences severe food poverty, and access to safe water, sanitation, and hygiene services remains limited in many communities. When climate shocks strike, children face increased risk of disease, malnutrition, interrupted learning, and reduced access to life-saving services. Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
A remote primary school built by local villagers in 2025 in New Island Province using bush materials has received help from Kina Bank to help improve learning conditions for students. Located at the remote Hanover Island in New Island, the Kone Primary School has received essential materials such as roofing iron, cement, and solar lights to upgrade one of its double classrooms into a stronger, more permanent structure, complete with an iron roof and cement flooring. This initiative marks the first phase of ongoing support planned by the Kina Bank team, with fundraising options being explored to help the school by the end of the year. The Weather Bureau has declared an El Nino is officially underway, possibly bringing hotter and drier conditions across the country. They are the two words most farmers fear, and this one could be the strongest in years.
Drier and more extreme temperatures. El Niño's typically associated with droughts and fires, and according to the Weather Bureau, it's back.
The pressure, the winds and also the cloudiness, among other things, are all teaming up to produce, yes, what we now understand as an El Niño.
The first El Niño in nearly 3 years. The Bureau warning this one could be the strongest in modern times and persist at least until Christmas. Expect below average rainfall and above average temperatures, particularly in central and eastern Australia. A longer fire season, fewer cyclones and less alpine snow. It's a blow for farmers. Parts of New South Wales, Queensland, Victoria, Tasmania and Western Australia already experiencing drier than average conditions this year.
Well, unfortunately, climate change and El Niño are a dangerous double act.
El Niño refers to an extended period of warmer than normal waters in the central tropical Pacific. This one could be a record breaker, with water temperatures possibly rising by more than 3 degrees. But thankfully for Australia, the strength of El Niño is not proportional to impacts. A record El Niño doesn't mean record heat or drought.
We're a pretty resilient bunch, and I think once again, it's just a matter of sitting down, making a plan, and then executing it and getting through.
Preparing for the worst, hoping for the best.
The Northern Territory government has announced a climate resilience plan, which it says is aimed at reducing the NT's greenhouse gas emissions over time. The plan has been widely criticized by environmental groups who claim it will increase rather than reduce emissions. Anti-climate resilience plan.
A climate strategy where fast-tracking gas is top of the agenda. The Northern Territory's CLP government has released its first ever climate resilience plan, a 3-page document with 5 priorities. Number 1 includes accelerating the Beetaloo Basin gas project.
You can't have a climate resilience plan where the number one thing that the Northern Territory plans to do is drill for more gas and make climate change worse.
Also in the Climate Council's sights, priority 3, a plan to attract investment in carbon capture and storage to offset emissions in the Territory.
We know that carbon capture and storage unfortunately just does not work as it's been promised to. It's been implemented in a few spots in Australia, but it's ultimately only taken a fraction of the emissions that it was ever designed to.
The Greens have slammed the plan, labelling it a joke.
This plan mentions gas more than it does climate change. It doesn't mention heat, which is one of the primary causes of climate-related death in Australia. It doesn't mention cyclones, which is one of the major impacts we'll feel here in the top end. This plan is an embarrassment to the CLP.
The Northern Territory's Environment Minister Joshua Burgoyne was unavailable for an interview, but said in a statement that the plan focuses on reducing emissions over time. He did not directly answer the ABC's questions about whether the NT government still has any emissions reduction targets, following the federal Liberals' decision to scrap its net zero goals last year, but said the NT acknowledges the federal government's targets of net zero by 2050.
PNG Kumul's prospect and Brisbane Broncos youngster Philip Coates has thanked fans across Papua New Guinea for their support during his first Queensland Cup appearance on home soil with the Belly Bears. Coates featured in the Sunday's clash against the SPPNG Hunters at the National Football Stadium in Port Moresby, making a special moment in front of the home ground. Junior Kumuls and Brisbane Broncos young star Philip Coates has sent his words of gratitude to PNG fans for showing support during his first Queensland Cup appearance on home soil with the Belly Bears on Sunday against the PNG SP Hunters. The 19-year-old extended special thanks to supporters from Gulf Province as well as family and friends who attended the match. Injected into the match in the 75th minute, the younger brother of Melbourne Storm winger Xavier Coates received loud cheers from the crowds as he took the field.
I'd just like to say thank to everyone in Karama and Gulf Province for the support. Yeah, it's much appreciated. Yeah, I like to thank the fans that came out as well. So I appreciate it.
Coates has enjoyed a strong debut in the Queensland Cup season with Bailey Bears, scoring 10 tries in 9 matches so far in 2026. He also made his NRL debut for the Brisbane Broncos in round 11 of the 2026 season against the New Zealand Warriors. Currently contracted to the Broncos until 2027, Coates said it is too early to consider future opportunities, including a potential move to the PNG franchise expected to enter the NRL in 2028. Regarded as one of the NRL's promising young wingers, Coates continues to build momentum as his professional career unfolds. Michael Tamtipais, TV1 Sports. As Netball PNG prepares for upcoming tournaments in Australia, including the Spirit Series in July and the Pacific Australia Sports Netball Challenge in November, preparations have been bolstered by the return of legendary Australian netball coach Simon McInnes to Papua New Guinea. McInnes has been working closely with the PNG Peppers and Under-21 squad and helping Peppers head coach Lua Rikis strengthen high-performance system and processes, including athlete load management. This will be achieved by empowering and expanding the delivery of netball in Papua New Guinea through a culture of purpose and pride. Netball provides opportunities for sport and competition and, importantly, a safe, inclusive space where women,